Hey Safari Mack fans, welcome back. I'm your guide and host helping you make connections to the wild. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're just continuously marching our way towards the end of the year and we're getting ready for the holiday season, which I hope each and every one of you who's watching my videos today are able to spend time with both your friends and your family, all your loved ones. And as always, from me on Safari Mac to all of you, happy holidays. But if you're ready, I want to continue on showing the secrets of this cunning trickster, the red fox, or as we know him as Vulpes. If you're ready, let's begin. Now it's time once more to talk about the wild things. Let's talk about this. The fox in the city. Now wait a minute. Doesn't that seem a little off? Is it because it's rabid? Is it mange, or is it really losing so much habitat that it's forced to live in this man-made environment? Now, of course, while the rabid or the mange part can be a real thing, it's not really out of place. Foxes can actually do very well in the city, along with other animals such as possums, raccoons, squirrels, falcons. There's a good number of animals, but now why? Even if we're protecting so much habitat, why are they here? Believe it or not, folks, the city really is no different than that of the woods. Because for a fox or any animal like similar, if they're able to find food, which here in the cities they can take opportunity of the high rodent populations, as well as looking through garbage, to finding shelter, which can be an underground burrow either in the parks or under the alley or even under someone's porch, to being able to raise their young. If they can do all these things, find food, shelter, and raise offspring, then many animals can be easily find a way to survive in this man-made environment. Some animals have even actually taken advantage of these great man-made places. Like, for example, falcons are able to hunt more efficiently because of the high heat from the concrete, the warm air currents that actually lift them up higher. Now, there's one animal that you might never find in the city, and that would be bears. That's just because they're just way too big, and there really isn't enough places for these animals to hide. But foxes are able to easily slip in almost unnoticed. But let's leave them in the city and get back to them out in the wild. Here's another wild thing. The fox's tail is actually half of their own body length. In fact, it's actually 70% of its head and body length is what matches the fox's own bushy tail. And another really great, incredible thing, they have extremely good hearing, which is perfect for pinpointing where their prey is or where there's a predator, whether it's a coyote or an eagle or other kind of canine or even a hunting dog. Now, let's talk about this next bit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to give you a little warning. What you're about to see is a little shocking, and I am afraid going to have to be putting some blame on our animal, which is probably a first on Safari Mac, but this is critically important for us to understand so that we can address the issue that's going on at the moment. The challenges and the problems. Now, the red fox, humans and foxes have kind of, in a way, been kind of at war with each other for a good long period of time. One event that you were probably familiar with would be the British hunt, when men and even women on horseback with hunting dogs chased after foxes and would kill them just for the sport of it. Now, this has had high controversy, but today in Britain, Scotland, and Wales, this has been outlawed since 2004, though it still can occur in parts of Northern Ireland. But now, there's a bit more problems with that. Thankfully, though, despite this issue, foxes aren't really endangered, if anything. If anything, they're actually doing pretty good. They're actually listed as least concern, which is the best place to be on a listing for endangered species. But unfortunately, I'm afraid I have to say that because of our own fault, foxes are becoming a villain in another part of the world. No, I'm not talking about the farmer who lost his chicken here. No, not that, but another part of the world. Australia. Unfortunately, back in the 1800s, somewhere within the 1830s, I believe, because after rabbits were originally introduced to Australia and got way out of control, foxes were brought in to help, try to keep the rabbit populations under control. Did it work? Unfortunately, it did not. Instead, foxes turned to the native wildlife in Australia. And I'm telling you, it has gotten really bad. Thanks to them, as well as loose feral cats, that's just basically your house cat that's returned to the wild, they have killed a number of mammals, reptiles, and birds. In fact, a few mammals of Australia are completely gone, extinct, never to return to the world again. Now, I know, like I said, it seems like I've just taken this animal and made a complete villain out of it. But it's not, and really, it isn't their fault. It's really because of us that we allowed this to happen. But unfortunately, foxes have been labeled as part of the top 100 worst invasive creatures ever known in the human history. But now, it's time for us to really recollect ourselves and remember our mistakes from the past and prevent these things from happening again. How are we going to do that? Now, originally, farmers are just, it's not their fault when they're killing foxes. They're just trying to only protect their livelihood, as well as keep us safe, keep themselves and their family safe, because foxes can transmit rabies, not just to humans, but to their pets, many other animals, and it's not really a pretty sight. But we're trying to look for other ways of learning to coexist with these animals by, in a way, working with nature and instead of against it. How so? This farmer is digging a fence into a trench where he's hoping to keep this creature from getting in and stealing his chickens. Another way that we're trying to do that now is trying to properly dispose of dead livestock. Because if you just leave it out there, you're just asking for trouble. But now, how else can we help them? Now, if you have a backyard habitat and you're wanting foxes to live there, then that's great. But if you're not wanting them to live there, that's okay too. You just gotta think of other ways of keeping them out that doesn't involve killing. In fact, killing the animal really should be seen as the ultimate last resource. There are many ways you can deter foxes or other wildlife. Bright lights can deter them away, loud noises, different animals, even some people have discovered dog pee has been effective in deterring foxes away. But also, you never approach any wild animal. It's just not worth it. Even if it's for that selfie or just something to tell your friends about. It's just not worth it. And if you're wanting to also just get rid of some animals without having to kill them, do nothing more than just call the wildlife people. They know exactly what to do. They will show you how to get rid of animals or how to capture them and then relocate them somewhere else. Because if you're not doing it right, you can educate the animals to learn how to avoid these traps. But folks, if we can do all this, as I've been saying in all my videos, if you can learn to do different tactics that don't involve killing and other practices, then you will be just as smart as the fox, maybe even smarter. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that's all the time I have. Thank you for tuning in. As always, though, hit that like and subscribe button. Check out my Facebook page for conservation tips and updates from all over the world. And if you have questions, feel free to send me an email, which you'll find the link to down in the description. But next week, join me as we go to the state of Virginia to meet the North American river otter. But until next week, this is Safari Mack, and I'll see you all out there.